Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our continuing series What? Why? Where I take a look at some of the strangest, weirdest, or otherwise unsettling video games I have ever played. And today we've got an extra strange one for you. That's because we are playing Demolition Girl, developed by Tamsoft and released for the PlayStation 2. And if you can't tell already, as this woman gets up from the beach, she is not like 5 or 6 feet tall, she is like 500 or 600 feet tall. Before we get too far involved though with all the weirdness, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe. That notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But if you haven't figured it out already, this is a giant kaiju battle game, except you're not fighting monsters like Godzilla or Mothra. You are fighting a giant 500-foot tall bikini model. That is the entire game. Now each stage is going to show you something slightly different, and in the first stage we need to use this research ray to get the model's measurements of her head, of her bust, of her waist, and of the rest of her body as well. First you need to activate where that hotspot is, and then you need to get close with your helicopter and analyze those measurements. I am not making this up, this is not a joke, this is a real game that came out in both Japan and Europe. It never came to North America, but 2 of the 3 regions that are popular for releasing games got Demolition Girl. And you don't want to get too close to her, she can damage your helicopter, and she's as curious about what you are as you are about what she is, and I will give you the lore in a cutscene later on because you just need to definitely check it out. But you'll see there we have 100% of the information of her bust, and now we need to get the information about the width of her hips. I can't make this stuff up, guys. I really wanted to talk about weird games, and this one may be by far the weirdest on the entire series, and it's one that I never hear anybody mention, and I'm sure that's for a very good reason. If you have heard of Demolition Girl before, leave me a comment down below because I would be curious, because I'm assuming 99 out of 100 of you are going to be wondering what in the hell this is, because trust me, when I first learned about this years ago, I wondered what the hell it was myself. But now that we've passed the first mission, I am jumping around in the game to show you different gameplay styles. We're on to a new mission, and you get these live cutscenes from the news in Japanese describing what's going on in the travels of Demolition Girl. She has a name, I've never heard it mentioned, but it also is in Japanese. And now we are going down the highway in a full military tank, trying to shoot her down before she gets to that tower in the distance, which will become very important slowly. Now this game isn't just weird because of the subject matter, but boy does that take the crown of weird. It's also strange because the controls are absolutely janky, and trying to even get this reticle over her to shoot the tank is near to impossible until you really get used to it. But the entire goal of this level is to shoot her with a missile and then use that machine gun to put damage into her. And you will see at the top left hand corner there is a damage percentage. Get it to 100 and you're going to end the level. But if she blows your tank up, or if she gets to the end of the area before that happens, you're going to lose, and you can see a meter of her running down below. But honestly, what other game does this? That is why this game is on What Why. We have a giant 500-foot tall woman wearing a bikini, acting like a kaiju. It is the strangest thing, but honestly, it kind of makes sense too. This is a popular genre, the big monster battle action game. And of course, sometimes people want to make games about women. I don't say that I'm agreeing with it, I'm just telling you what happens. Stuff like Dead or Alive, the beach volleyball games. Somebody just decided to put them together, and it is incredibly weird. But it is a spectacle, and spectacles we love to behold. And this level just keeps going. You basically just need to put damage into her, but she is a bullet sponge, just like Godzilla when the military comes and starts shooting missiles at him. 99% of them are absorbed and never even bother Godzilla, and our bikini model here is exactly the same way. She's just going to pick up whole buildings and throw them at you, and you need to shoot them out of the air. And the buildings are not that hard to hit, but where you're really going to get into some trouble is when she starts throwing small cars at you. Best of luck hitting those. 9 out of 10 times you're going to take some damage. But I told you I would give you the lore of how this happened, how our bikini model became Godzilla tall. So go ahead and watch this cutscene and I'll be right back. And now you know how our model ended up being 500 feet tall, and now you know who she's wearing on her head as a hat. That is the alien. It fell from space in the intro cutscene that I haven't shown you. It bit our model, made her gigantic, and now is controlling her by being attached to her brain. That is the story, folks. I'm not making it up. It's exactly as you see here, and it is incredibly strange. But on the other end of why, we have to talk about the gameplay mechanics in and of themselves. Because I will say, I have never flown a helicopter. I've flown in helicopters, but no one's ever given me the controls. Probably a very good thing, or else I wouldn't be here right now. But I highly presume that no helicopter in the history of aviation controls like the helicopter in Demolition Girl does. This thing is so hard to move around, and trying to predict the elevation is difficult. You have two buttons to raise and lower the helicopter stationary, and those do work. But where the reticle is pointed versus where the rockets are going, it does not match whatsoever. That reticle is going to be in the middle of the screen the entire time, and you can see the rockets are hitting above the top end of it. It doesn't make any sense. It makes aiming incredibly hard, and we're trying to shoot that head crab right now, and actually hitting it when she's running around is an exercise in futility. Actually winning at this game would take forever. You don't play Demolition Girl to actually try to succeed. You play Demolition Girl to see the hilariousness on offer. And I love that it has a gigantic red laser beam. This is just a kaiju game that happens to have a woman in a bikini versus an actual gigantic monster. And you will see there that we were shot down with the missiles. And of course, it couldn't be a game like this if we were not talking about King Kong in some way or another. The final stage in the game has that alien atop two towers, and our model is trying to crawl up the towers to get to him. And I will say the camera angles they chose for this were definitely intentional, and you'll know what I mean in just a moment. But I love how slow these cutscenes are. It's basically just a little bit of movement, and then of course they're going to have to put the camera down there. The developers wanted to show you a certain something, and damn it, they were going to succeed if they could. There is some glitches here. I do not own this game. I'm emulating it, upscaling it, so ignore the background windows, although that could really be part of the real game. This is so janky. But the last mission in the game, you have a shrink ray, and you need to shrink her back down into a human size. But the entire time you're doing that, our alien friend up top is just bombarding you with missile after missile. Avoiding them is near impossible. They have almost a perfect home-in sequence to them, and trying to actually see the end of this game the real way and not just using saves to show you all the levels, I don't think I could ever do it. And I don't think I actually want to do it either. This is the type of game you play to experience once. It's not the type of game that you're going to go back to time and time again to try to beat your high score or otherwise replay it because you enjoyed it that much. This is the type of game you put on for your friends at a game night. They know nothing about it and they walk away wondering what in the hell they just played. And there is a secret mission as well that takes place in this entire flat, no textured polygon city with a very warped and distorted 2D image of the model on the ground. This is your bonus, folks, for beating everything in Demolition Girl. You just get to shoot her a few more times, while there's also a really janky looking warped image of her on the ground. This game just makes no sense, and the reality is that's why it's so much fun to talk about, especially on a series like What Why. Some things we've talked about like Wadham are incredible games that are also very strange, but Demolition Girl is just strange for strange sake. The gameplay is minimal, it is very odd. This is the type of game you just play to wonder what in the hell the person that was making it was thinking when they did it. And you get levels like this. Your helicopter is loaded with 4 gigantic syringes, and you're trying to tranquilize her to put her down to stop her campaign of terror. But you have to hit a certain direction, and again, that reticle, those syringes are going to fly so far over what you're actually aiming at. Trying to understand where you are in real time is just basically impossible, but that's what makes the game so hilarious. Let's do a checklist. Does it have a giant 500-foot tall woman in a bikini? Absolutely. Do you need to measure her body for government research? 100%. Do you need to shoot gigantic syringes into her to try to put her to sleep? Totally a thing you're going to do. Do you need to try to crawl up a facsimile of the Empire State Building a la King Kong? You're damn right you have to. This game checks all the weird boxes, but the funniest thing is it plays it straight. It doesn't try to sell it too hard. Within the world of Demolition Girl, this is all quote-unquote normal. The graphics are janky, the soundtrack's actually fun, and the cutscene was good. You gotta give them credit, they definitely put effort into what they were going for. The thing is, what they were going for makes absolutely no damn sense, but that's why it's an incredible episode of What Why, because where else are you gonna hear somebody talk about Demolition Girl? Short of that, leave me a comment down below if you've ever actually heard of the game. I would be very curious to see who knows this, and we'll be back with an episode of What Why next week. But we're trying to put her to sleep, and we do that with syringes in the you-know-where. Bye-bye.